everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Raid Shadow Legends, and we're on the test server for the last moments before I lose access for this round. In this round, the test server for me was, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, was less about the new champions coming out and more about the faction games. So, and I'm very happy for that. I so appreciate Deadwood including me on this super fun event. And today we're going to talk Hydra. If you guys watched the competition, you know how that went. Spoiler alert for anyone right now, if you haven't seen the results of the faction games Hydra run, and you wanted to see what happened there between me, Nub, and Hell Hades, go take a look over on Deadwood Jedi's channel first. I'll make sure this video is out after the results are out, of course, so I don't want to spoil that for anyone who wants to see what happened live and see how we did live. And that's something I'm going to talk about here. I actually completely botched one of the main points of my team, guys. But let's get to the spoilers. I won! Woohoo! I did beat the boys, as we said. But Nub had a really interesting team. It had a lot of damage potential. He said he had a lot higher, although it was quite squishy. It would have been hard seeing that actually go a lot farther, I think. It was quite a squishy team, too. And he had people dying a lot. He also had buffs going up, like Doom Priest's increased attack kept going up. He was using that so much, yet the bosses kept stealing it. He didn't have a mischief target, so I think that was a big downfall for him. And Hell Hades had demon spawn, and he had a lot of survivability, but he was really lacking in extra damage. Even though he had Kandrafon in there, it wasn't as much extra damage. So I feel like I ended up, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm proud of my team. I had good balance and damage. We have Cupidus here. I had a mischief target in Bivald. He also provokes the Head of Decay. I got creative and used a taunting set for sake of Head of Decay. So I think my team was pretty well balanced, all things considered. And it wasn't easy, one key hard, but only Sacred Order. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you guys one key hard, Sacred Order only. But first, let's actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a run. Let me pause here and see which run I'm going to play. So this was actually my personal best run with this team. I did this after I switched up and put Cupidus in the lead. When I did a run before that, I had Bivald in the lead. And the reality, though, my run with the live stream was actually probably my best potential for damage, even though I didn't quite hit this 27 million mark. I think I had the potential for 30-40 million in that team if I used my champions correctly. So I'm actually going to play that run from the live stream with Deadwood Jedi here at the end, and then we'll come back, or I'll play it now, and then we'll come back and I'll show you guys my champions and I'll talk about what I did wrong.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. close, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt, they're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit and I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
I'll take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.
I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back.
I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit and I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be being dead. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and
All right, so I did speed that up a little bit so it wasn't quite as long. Feel free, if you're like, that was too fast for me to follow, you can actually watch YouTube videos on a slower speed or a faster speed, so that can actually help greatly. So we are back. At the end, the run is over. You guys saw it. I messed up. There's actually a bit of conversation I noticed in people's chat. And you know, when someone wins, it's not who they want to win. They're going to be like, oh, they only won because of this. And I saw a couple comments that were like, she only won because she got lucky with the Head of Decay. Wrong. I only lost, as in my team fell apart, because of the Head of Decay not coming up. So what actually happened, at first I was like, oh, I got lucky, no Head of Decay. No, I was forgetting about my target for the Head of Mischief. And because the Head of Decay was not there, I was not using Bivald's A2 to provoke. I wasn't using it because I had nothing to provoke. So I was like, oh, it's fine. I don't need that. And first thing I noticed while live streaming, which I did mention during the stream, so make sure you'll catch that if you watch my run with Deadwood Jedi. That run, I'm actually talking about the stuff there. I guess I could leave up the audio. No, yeah, watch it on his stream so you can see the conversation better. But this here, I realized I was getting really squishy, getting low on health. I wasn't putting up this AoE leech. I was missing that. But I was also, what I didn't realize until the very end, which apparently Odd One was like telling me in Twitch chat that I didn't see, I wasn't putting out my strength and buff, guys. This is what makes my Bivald the target for mischief and the buff steals. It is the whole reason I put 9 resistance on my Bivalds. I also put a blood shield ring as well to make sure it was just one more chance to make sure he always had like an extra shield buff up too. But I think that helps sometimes. But if you watch my run from the live stream with Deadwood Jedi and the competition for faction games, I had my buff stolen a lot. And when you get your buff stolen from Mischief, turn meters boosted, it's a hot mess. It's not good. And I could have put the strength and buff up to make sure my targeting was correct. So I failed there. Like that run should have been even more damage, which does make me feel better because like I still won even without that, right? Go team. But for real, this strength and buff should have been up. He should have been my mischief target the whole time. They wouldn't have been stealing my increased defense buffs or my little shield buffs that were still up from Bivald's A3. So first, before I get into showing you guys my builds in deeper and talking about this, I actually wanted to take the time to just be like, oops, I messed up. So keep this in mind if you guys end up using Bivald in your Hydra teams. He is wonderful for provoking the Head of Decay. He has a provoke on his A1. It's only 50% chance to place, but it's still pretty helpful. He has a provoke on his A2 and a leech that are AoE that, well, they place even when weak hits. So even if the poison cloud comes up, you still can place it. But if you're going to use him as your mischief target, which means when we talk about mischief targeting, we talk about having one person with high enough resistance to resist the buff steal. The mischief head is always going to steal buffs on the champion that has the most buffs at the moment. And so you want to have one person that puts a buff on themselves, or two or three. This buff goes on everybody, so that doesn't really help. But he puts strengthen on himself. So, and it's on 3-turn cooldown, not so bad. But it was happening pretty often. Their speeds were good. I had turn meter boost from Deacon. He was going pretty often. I could have had this up pretty much the whole time, or if not, I would have at least had my blood shields popping. And he would have been the mischief target the whole time. So keep that in mind. If you are using Bivald and the Head of Decay is not up and you're like, okay, cool, I don't have to worry about provoking the Head of Decay. If Head of Mischief is up, make sure you're still using your A2, guys. He's a really good target for Head of Mischief. Just don't forget to use the A2 like I did. I think it's funny. But I still wanted to do a proper showcase on this team just to show you guys how Hydra, honestly, like it's hard, but I could do it with only Sacred Order. If I could do it with only Sacred Order, you can probably do it if you have a somewhat advanced account for sake of combining all the other factions involved, right? So Shamel is great when the head of Torment is there, of course. Cupidus has HP burn. Mordecai is one of the MVPs of Hydra, honestly, with his placing of HP burn, but I didn't end up using him on my team because I had Cupidus and I just wanted the raw damage that Cupidus puts out even with his A1. And his A2 smacks really hard too, so that's something to consider. But let me just quickly go through my characters. I know I did go through them on the live stream, so if you already saw them, it is what it is. But I wanted to take a moment and quickly talk about Bivald, because that's something really important that I realized I totally messed up during my runs. So here we go. We have Cupidus with 5,000 attack, 226 speed. I tried to get everyone over 220 speed was my goal for this, just in general. I think I just wanted to have chances to go more often, especially with turn meter boosts from Deacon. But he has 239% crit damage and enough accuracy to land his burns. I did put him in a Savage set. Lethal is also great, or even Instinct would have been okay. We do have masteries on him here. Let me get myself in the middle for most of these masteries. Oops. Don't mind the corner of my room. Ha ha ha. And there is my masteries for Cupidus. I did go here just to pump out more damage when we're low and everything's a little bit risky, because we're not often going to be at full health for Hydra because the Head of Decay cuts down your max HP anyway, so I didn't really want to take that because I didn't think we'd really be at full health very often. But yeah, extra healing with Life Drinker I put on most people, and for most folks I also try to get Cycle of Magic so we have a chance to decrease the cooldown of a skill and be able to proc things more often. Alright, Bivald was my mischief target. Oops, let's go over here. I didn't worry about the accuracy with him. It was easy to get accuracy, of course, too. And the provoke, I could have went here, but no, I can't. This is why I didn't go here. You can't extend provoke, and same thing with sniper. Provoke doesn't count here either. So it doesn't really make sense for me to go down the support tree for Bivald for sake of Hydra. I'd rather just go in here with the damage mitigation and extra support factors for defense-wise, with damage mitigation and all that fun stuff, because I actually had him in a Guardian set, so I want to make sure he's taken the least amount of smashes compared to everyone else, because he's got to take the brunt of damage from the Guardian set. He absorbs 10% of damage to all allies, heals by 10% every turn, damage absorbed is not reduced by defense. So that set alone was really nice. I actually, just... it's like having a regen set on at the same time a little bit, so it's really helpful. And I did have him with almost 90,000 HP, 220 speed. I did not worry about crit damage on him, even though I wish I could have. If you are building him for other stuff besides Hydra and you don't have him in a Guardian set, you should try to focus a little bit of damage, because his shield is based on damage. So kind of like you guys know, Miscreated Monster smacks with a big old shield that's based on his damage. This is like that as well. Places a shield equal to 20% of the damage inflicted, so the more damage you do, the bigger his shields are going to be, so keep that in mind if you're using him as a support champion for the shields. And then we had Godseeker was my big support here. She was in Relentless gear, and we had a little bit low on the HP and defense, honestly. Defense okay, I wish I had her HP a bit higher. But I did actually go for a little bit of resistance on her, so she didn't get the provokes and the poisons as often. So I didn't get enough resistance to resist the Head of Mischief, but we did get enough resistance to resist the other heads most of the time, so that was helpful. And we are talking hard Hydra, guys. Keep that in mind. The stats are kind of low and they're based on hard. If that's not enough accuracy, if you're doing Nightmare or Brutal, so just keep that in mind. And here we go. Same thing, masteries. Everyone I got more master, and then a lot of people, again, Cycle of Magic just for chances to come back. And she is my reviver, so if everyone else is dead, I do want her to speed up and have a chance to go in there and revive them. Inquisitor Shamel, I have him built with typical Inquisitor masteries. Depending on how you look at it, you can go War Master for him, or you can go Giant Slayer. Both end up working out okay. I think at the end of the day, War Master can be more reliable for damage, but if he is doing a lot of counterattacks, the Giant Slayer also comes into play. And Deterrence and Retribution are really helpful for him as well. So he is awesome. I had him in a Taunting set because he does go so often, and he does counterattack when people are placing debuffs and stuff, so I actually just wanted to make sure that I had him in this in case I had one more option to throw on taunting for sake of the Head of Decay. In hindsight, I think I actually might have swapped who I had in taunting and poisons. So I had Deacon in a toxic set to throw on extra poisons on all the heads, but I think I could have actually done Shamel in toxic and Deacon in taunting, because then Deacon would go so often with the turn meter boost here, and he comes back to this, and then he's back to... It's just so quick how fast he's back to the skill. It's so nice. Because it's on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he takes an extra turn. And then he goes this, and then he does this, and then he's back to this again. It's like so quick. But I think I could have had the taunting set on Deacon. That would have been a good call, actually. And we would have got even more chances to make sure the Head of Decay is always provoked, right? But let me quickly show you my Shamel details. I had 4,000 attack, 230 speed, 100% crit rate, 246 crit damage, and don't need to worry about accuracy for him, luckily. So I did have him in a cleansing accessory that ended up working out well with the attack stat. I think this is, yeah, attack. And that's another chance to remove a debuff and help him stay alive. So let's go to Deacon now. We were talking about Deacon. I did have Deacon in a toxic set. He goes so often, and a couple of the heads you can place poisons on. Now they do have reduced damage from poisons, but hey, every little bit of extra damage helps, right? Every little bit of extra damage helps. So this is where we ended up. Honestly, it's so funny. I didn't even need to go 220 speed on everything, but I mean, there's one head that can pop up that's like 210 speed, I think. So I went with that, but these are more, honestly, these speeds are more for like Brutal and Nightmare, but it's fine. I did want a little bit of survivability on my Deacon. I was trying to get some more damage out of him, but I really couldn't push it up too high. Originally, I was going to go damage with Deacon, but I was worried about survivability, so I just hoped that the little extra damage from poisons would be enough to be worth it. He had pretty high accuracy. He didn't really need this high of accuracy. It's just how things fell. So because I had a perception set in there, and I could have taken that and changed it probably for an immortal set, but I think he survived okay, so it wasn't too bad. Masteries for him, War Master Masteries, and again, Cycle of Magic for just keep coming back to his chances to come back to his skills as much as possible, and improve his stats here. So I also, last but not least, was Lightsworn. I used Lightsworn in similar build as well. Lightsworn does have a 3-hitter on his A1, so I did go Giant Slayer instead of War Master. He's in here for a very important role. Increased defense and Revive on Death was really helpful for taking the smashes from the Head of Wrath. Revive on Death could be a nice little backup in case you could time it just right and people are about to die. The Head of Wrath smashes and they pop right back up from Revive on Death, and my Godseeker could heal. Our A2, we have decreased attack and decreased speed. This is what I targeted with the Head of Wrath as well. Lightsworn was really in here as my anti-Head of Wrath, right? But actually there's a funny part about his kit that made it more risky for the Head of Wrath as well, but I'll show that next. So I tried to make sure decreased attack was on the Head of Wrath, so I prioritized when this skill was available. I always made sure that was on that. And then when it wasn't, when the Head of Wrath was all set and I got the skill again, I would use it on like the Head of Decay to slow it down, try to go as least amount as possible. Decreased speed in Hydra is really helpful to help slow them down so you can have more chances to take extra turns, pump up more damage, and to control them. This thing is good and bad. 3-hitter's nice. Pump out a little extra damage, get that Giant Slayer procs, get a little extra damage in there in general. But if he got provoked and had to attack the Head of Wrath, 3 hits at once on that ticker can really kind of hurt you in the end. So it actually made him a little bit risky for the Head of Wrath at the same time, ironically. He helped and hurt me there, but he's actually a good sleeper champion if you're needing someone to fulfill that role for Hydra, or just in general. I mean, Fire Knight, guys, Fire Knight. 3-hitter on the A1, decrease target's turn meter, Fire Knight. Attack one enemy, decrease attack, decrease speed. Really good for Fire Knight. And even here, if you really needed it and you were he was smashing and you weren't able to control the Fire Knight enough to keep the shield open the whole time, this might even come in handy too. But even just using his A1 and his A2, he's a really great champion for Fire Knight, so keep him in mind. I mean, unfortunately, this turn meter 10%, not the greatest, but it helps. Every little bit helps. Of course, if you are going to use him for Fire Knight, you're going to want to take the Evil Eye Mastery. I'm just going to shout that out right now. Instead of this, just take the Evil Eye Mastery. But yeah, it's worth it. It's great. He was a really nice champion. I had him in reflex gear to have a chance to refresh the skill or not to go on cooldown for sake of the decreased attack and decreased speed. He had enough survivability. He's defense based. I put a ton of defense on him so he could handle some smashes and stay alive well, which he did just fine. I have enough accuracy to land his debuffs, of course, and good speed. So there we have it. There's my champions. I'm a little bit bummed that I don't have the other run recorded from my, I guess, the personal best. I do have some other runs recorded though, but they might show me using Bivald properly. But I think part of that is an interesting discussion just to be like, guys, I messed up. I still won, but I messed up, surprisingly. But all right. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this inspires you, though, to try out Hydra. You just got to think about each individual head you're fighting and who do you have to combat each head. And that's why I did a Hydra series. If you didn't notice, guys, check it on if you go to my main part of the YouTube, you'll see Hydra is one of my playlists, and I have all the head videos. It was only a couple weeks ago, so it's a quick scroll down the page anyway. But yeah, I did a series talking about every head and how to combat them. I didn't mention all the super overpowered perfect champions for it. There's a lot, like now that we have provoking involved, there's a lot more we can do. It makes people like Krisk even more valuable. I wish I had one. There's people like War Chief. Is he Ogren? What the hell is War Chief? No. Skinwalker. Yeah. War Chief. I forget I even have a War Chief, and he's one of the best provokers in the game. He is a solid option for sake of Hydra now. And reflect damage taken back on the attacker. He has a reflect damage built into his kit. Remember, guys, we know this. This is super annoying when we face him in Doom Tower. So there's so many people like this that I didn't even mention because I just talked general for the most part. And I mentioned the people that I used most often in general. And like Skullord Vargal is now amazing for Hydra if you guys are sleeping on him. So good. He's solid as a mischief target because he puts up extra buffs on himself with the strengthen buff again as well. Strengthen. Just keep that in mind. Strengthen buff, guys. Don't use him with Lydia. She puts up strengthen. They would counteract each other. Same thing with Bivald. Don't use with Lydia or anyone else putting up a strengthen buff like Ursula. Keep those things in mind. But there's so many interesting champions that if you just take the time and think about their roles, you might realize they're better for Hydra than we expected. And maybe you do have a decent Hydra team hiding in your vault. So feel free to pop into my Twitch stream, guys. I'm always happy to give advice while we're streaming, or chat can help out. If you guys want to show rosters and be like, who should I use for Hydra? I'm happy to help with that kind of stuff if we have the chance. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed this series. Bye test server. This was a fun run. Hopefully the next one we can do another sort of game and content creator challenge, and then maybe I'll be involved in as well. If not, I'll be watching, that's for sure. But thank you guys for the support. Go Team CSI, and I'll see you guys in the next video.